Hey sparkly beings, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a 30-minute sequence devoted to stretches and postures that help you get into lotus pose. So ideally by the end of the session you are rendering lotus, and if not, that's okay. It's practice and consistency and patience. So just be kind to yourself during this session and just see where you can go from there. So whenever you're ready, join me on your mat. Begin with me at the top of your mat. Get nice and grounded into your feet. Press your toes into the mat. Press your heels into the mat. Roll your shoulders down and back. Activate the arches of your feet here. Stand in mountain pose, so palms to the front. Activate your glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, core, biceps, triceps. Everything here is active. And let it go. Inhale both arms out and up to gaze up. Exhale, press the air away, chin to chest. Inhale both arms out and up to gaze up. Exhale, press the air away, chin to chest. Make sure you're facing the front of your mat here. Inhale both arms out and up to lean back. Exhale, swan dive, flat back, palms to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, press the palms to your mat and step it back for your plank. Inhale here, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck your toes. Raise your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Breathe into your dog for a moment. Really get grounded into all of your fingers and all of your toes. Inhale your right leg up and back for three-legged dog. Get nice and flexed into that heel. Exhale, step it through low lunge. Mindfully lower your left knee to the mat and untuck your left toes. Inhale to rise. Press both palms into your front knee and really let your hips get heavy here. Think about a rope tied around your waist, pulling your hips down. Option to gently rock from side to side. Really getting into this hip flexor here. We're going to need this nice and open for this future posture. Place both palms to the ground and bend into your left knee as you extend long through your right leg. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, guide your heart towards your leg as deep as is comfortable for you. Option to gently move your foot to the right and also to gently move it back to the left. And bring it back to center. Press into your palms and guide your foot back into tabletop. Press both palms into the mat, directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. Inhale, open your heart, raise your hips, and gaze up for cow. And exhale, press away, chin to chest, navel to spine for cat. Inhale, open your heart, raise your hips, and gaze up. Exhale, press the earth away, chin to chest, navel to spine. Back to center. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, and guide your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Flex into your back heel. Nice and strong here. Exhale, guide it through. Inhale here to lengthen through your spine. And exhale, mindfully lower your back right knee to the mat as you untuck your back toes. Inhale here to lengthen. On your exhale, press through your front heel and guide yourself up into your low crescent lunge. Press both palms into the knee. Let your hips get nice and heavy here. Breathe into the space. Option to shift back and forth, mindfully whispering for your hip to open. Place both palms to the mat. Bend into your right knee as you extend into your left leg, nice and long into the front. Left foot flexed. Inhale here to lengthen. On your exhale, guide your heart towards your leg. Find your space wherever you're at. Just breathe into it. Option to shift your toes towards the left. And option to shift your toes towards the right. And release. Bring your foot back behind you into your tabletop. Inhale, raise your hips, open your heart, and gaze up for cow. On your exhale, press the earth away, chin to chest, navel to spine, really round through your upper back here. Inhale, open your heart, raise your hips. Exhale, press the earth away, chin to chest, navel to spine. Come back to center. Raise your knees and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal it out here. Inhale your right leg up and back for three-legged dog. Exhale, step it through low lunge. Place your right palm on the inside of your right foot to meet your left. Mindfully lower your left knee and untuck your left toes. Option to stay here. Also, you can walk your right foot out a little bit and let your toes point away from you. Coming down into lizard stretch. Also, once again, option to rock if that feels good. And if you feel like you have a little more space in your body, you can lower your elbows down to the mat and get into a deeper stretch here. Just breathe into your groin, into your glute, your hamstring, getting all these loosened up. Press your palms into the mat and raise. Tuck your back toe, lift your left knee, and step it back into plank. Raise your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high, flex through your heel. Exhale, step it through low lunge. Inhale here to lengthen through your spine. Place your left palm on the inside of your left foot and mindfully lower your right knee and untuck your right toes. Option to stay here or walk your foot out, toes diagonal away from you. Once again, option to rock. Breathe into that space. Whatever feels good for you. And once again, you can lower down to your elbows if that is an option for you currently right now. And just breathe into your hip, your groin, your glute, your hamstring, really opening it up. Press both palms into the mat as you raise. Bring your foot back forward in the front. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, and step back into plank. Raise your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Now, this time just bend dramatically into your right knee and press into your left heel to really lengthen through the back of your leg here. And just breathe into that space and then shift and do the same thing on the right. So generously bend your left knee and really press into your right heel here. And release. Bend both knees. Let yourself come down into a tabletop. And walk your hands back to sit on your heels for Thunderbolt. Go ahead and sway from side to side. Massage the tops of your feet and your shins. Stretching and opening this space. Plant both hands to the left as you shift your hips to the left and extend your legs out ahead of you. Nice and long. Get nice and rooted in your sit bones. Maybe move the fleshy bits away. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Just a little bit of a stretch here. We're not gonna do super dramatic here. We're just gonna open you up a little bit. Do your best to keep your back nice and flat. And release. Guide your left foot, the base of your left foot, onto the inside of your right thigh. Lengthen here. On your exhale, hinge at your hips, draw your navel in, and guide your heart towards your leg. I'm very, very slowly leaning towards my leg. Perhaps even slower than a turtle. Also, a really nice way to do this is every inhale is a lengthening through your spine, and every exhale is a deepening of the stretch. Now, your body may not lower you as deep as mine is currently, and that is totally okay. That's just a current moment, but you may find that sooner than you think, you're able to come all the way down to the mat. Forehead to your knee, maybe forehead to the mat. And breathe into this space. Breathing into your back, your lower back, behind your shoulder blades. Definitely breathing into the groin area. And inhale to raise. Gradually roll up, one vertebra at a time. If you need to, take both hands to help guide your left leg out ahead of you. Shake out both legs, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the base of your right foot on the inside of your left thigh. One side is always a little different than the other, so make any adjustments you need to still be able to render this posture. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Navel in, heart towards your leg. Once again, very mindfully, very slowly. Just letting yourself get heavy and drift towards the floor. Also, like I said, another good way to do this is every inhale is a lengthen and every exhale is a potential deepening. And even though each stretch ideally stretches a very specific body part, it could be a little different for you, depending on what's going on in your body. Like currently for me, I have metal in my right knee. That will just always be there, but this is a new addition. So for me, I'm really feeling the stretch also in my right knee as I lean forward to deepen this. Once again, option to guide your forehead towards your leg or onto your leg or the floor if that feels good. And inhale to raise. Mindfully roll up one vertebra at a time. Use both hands to help your right leg out ahead of you and shake it out. Now here we're going to come into Baddha Konasana. This is where you can face me. The base of both feet together, clasp your hands around your toes, and just do some butterfly wings. Just flap your knees. That sounds weird. You know what I mean. And just breathe into this space. Little pulses here. All right. Go ahead and stop your pulses. Get nice and long through your spine. Inhale. And on your exhale, gradually draw yourself down towards the ground. Heart is open. Think about a little laser just coming out of your chest and where that might go. And that would allow you to kind of keep in mind the position that you want your chest in as you're coming into these forward folds. This really does help you keep your spine straight. And just breathe into your back body. Maybe your glutes, you're feeling where they connect to you. And inhale to rise. A few more pulses here with your knees. Use both hands to guide your knees together and extend your legs out ahead of you and shake them out. Place both hands to the left. Swing your legs around and come into a little garland pose here, a little squat. So press your palms together, elbows into your knees, knees into your elbows, nice and long through your spine. You don't want a knee rounding. I mean, it's possible, it's happening, but do your best to be mindful and keep it nice and long and straight. The more mindful you can be and the more that you can start to straighten your spine and all of these postures, the easier it'll be for you to actually render the posture fully and also fully benefit from it, because anytime you're rounding into your spine, there's a compensation happening in your muscles, which affects the range of motion that you have and the ability that you really have to benefit. And you're still benefiting, but over time you'll benefit more. All right. Go ahead and place both palms to the floor or the mat and step your feet away from you to lower your knee. So right knee down and then left knee down. We're going to come into frog pose. So depending on where you're at, you also could take a block under your hips if that helps, or a bolster such as this. And keep your shins parallel to one another and your feet are flexed as if they were standing behind you, but they're not. And then gently press your hips back towards your heels and rock forward and rock back. Option to lower down to your elbows here. For me, I find that when I lower down to my elbows, it takes a lot more tension out of the hip flexors. So once again, rocking forward and rocking back, and just breathe into the space. Be very mindful of how you're shifting your body. If you feel any twinges, back off. That's your body's way of saying, I'm not ready for this yet, and that's okay. The key word is yet. All right. So now we're stopping our rocking back and forth in frog, and you're going to guide your feet back together. Press into your palms, raise up, and use your feet to lift your knees off the ground back in front of you. Come back to sit in your thunderbolt, shoulders down and back. Just rock from side to side, just for a moment, just resetting. And once again, go ahead and center yourself, place your hands to the left, come to your hip, and guide your legs out ahead of you. Come into a nice seat here. Keep your left leg nice and long, flexed in that foot, and guide your right knee into your chest using both palms. Get nice and tall here through your spine as much as you can. And then guide your right foot over your left leg. So your foot should be somewhere around your knee. Use your right hand to hold your knee, and then inhale, left arm up. Exhale, crease of your elbow to the outside of your knee. Inhale, right arm up and back. Exhale, turn to gaze over your shoulder and be mindful of flexing into that leg and foot that is down on the ground. And just breathing into this space. Every inhale is an opportunity to lengthen. Every exhale is an opportunity to deepen. We're not just stretching our lip flexors, our hip flexors. We're not just stretching our hip flexors. We're also getting a nice little detox in the spine, compressing our organs to release all the blood back into our body. And release your right hand from behind you. Use both hands to help extend your right leg out ahead of you. And same thing other side as we shake it out first. Use both hands to guide your left knee into your chest. Get nice and grounded here. Flex into that leg, into that foot that's on the ground. Guide your foot on the other side of your right leg. Should be somewhere near your knee. Use your left hand to press into your left knee. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, crease of the elbow to the outside of the knee. Inhale, left arm up and back. On your exhale, gently twist to gaze over your back shoulder. And just breathe into that space. Breathe into your glute, your hips. Nice and strong in that leg that's still on the ground. And inhale, raise your left arm up and around. Use both arms to unravel your legs and go ahead and shake them out. So next we're going to come into double pigeon. So left leg, nice little number 7 here. And right leg, also a nice little number 7 here. So you want your ankle on your left directly under your right knee, and ideally, and you want your right knee directly over your left, right ankle over your left knee. Yes. All right. So as I get into this posture, I notice that my leg already wants to draw away and move my foot. So do your best to try to stay here, as this will help you get a deeper stretch. And just breathe into that space. As you can see, I'm taking both palms and pressing into the knee that's raised. I'm letting it know it's okay. I'm not forcing it down. I'm just applying a little bit of weight here as I'm shifting my body forward. It's nice and easy, gradual. No force here. Just have compassion for yourself and where you're at. And just breathe into this space. You could be feeling particular muscles connecting your glute on the outside. Really opening in that hip on the outside. Oftentimes we think of stretching our hips as like more of the groin area, but your hips are also, the outside of your hip, which is attached to your glute. So really just breathing into that space. All right, go ahead and rise. Use both hands to help your leg out of the position. Extend both legs out ahead of you for our transition. Nice little leg shake here before we go in double pigeon on the other side. So once again, little number 7 shape as best you can with your right leg. Bend into your left knee. Same thing, little 7 shape over the right. Once again, ankles and knees ideally are stacked. So as you can see here, this one also is fighting with me. What? That's okay. It's not fighting with you. It's just doing its thing. All right, so inhale here to lengthen, both palms on this knee. And exhale, gently shift your weight forward. It just means that whatever activity you did the day before, whether it was squats or hiking or anything, those muscles are just tight. They're not ready for this yet, maybe. Or maybe yours were way more easygoing than mine. And just breathe into the space. Keep lowering yourself nice and gradually, very mindfully, thoughtfully. Little whispers to the leg. It's okay. You're fine. Also, still, never go past 80% of your capacity. If you try to go to 100 too soon, that's when injuries can happen. So that's where it's really more important to be very mindful and gradual with sliding into all of these postures, especially the ones that really get into these tight bits. Also, option to start to lower your elbows down to the ground if that feels good. And gently rise. Use both hands to help take that leg away and extend it out ahead of you. Shake both legs out. Bring your legs wide. So as wide as you can. You don't have to be like this amazing splits person. You just get your legs as wide as you can. And you really want to shift your tailbone back and down as much as you can. Oftentimes you'll find that your tailbone isn't hitting the ground and you start to round forward. That's fine if that's where you're at currently. Just be mindful of where you want to go. So draw your shoulders down and back. Sit nice and tall here. And as you exhale, gently start to lower down towards the ground. Also, option to help stabilize yourself a little bit better with your palms in front. So nice and flexed into these feet, right? You want to feel your legs are actually pressing into the ground here. This helps stabilize you and keep you nice and flat in your back. So every inhale is a lengthen. Every exhale, maybe just lower a little bit deeper. Still pressing into your legs, still flexing into your feet. You should be feeling a nice groin stretch, stretching the internal thigh muscles here. Once again, honor where you're at. I am going to drift more deeply down. This is basically, you would go into pancake from here, which I will show you. So also option to shift right and left to right. And then if you can and you have the range of motion, keep lowering yourself down and maybe your chin hits the floor and your palms now grab the inside of your feet. And this is your pancake. If you're not here, that's fine. Just know that this is one day an option perhaps for you. And gently rise. Shake your legs out. Guide them back together. Also shake them out here. Move your bum a little bit. Get everything back in order. And this is where we come into the final pose. This is going to be your lotus pose. So take your left foot up on top of your right. And we'll just do this for a moment. Just stretch into it a little bit here. Let your foot get a little used to this position. And then inhale to lengthen and exhale. Gently fold forward over this foot as it's on top of your right leg. As deep as you want here, as deep as your body will allow. And then inhale, rise. Before we officially try to go into lotus on this side, extend this leg out, and we'll do the same thing on the right. So right foot over left thigh. Once again, like I said, I've got some metal in here, so this knee wants to always be up like super high. It's like, what are you doing? So just be mindful of your body and what it's doing, you know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just doing its thing. So once again, leaning forward here. Now you can press both palms into your right knee and your right foot, or you can put palms to the ground and just gently lower here, whatever's comfortable for you. Just kind of find your space, find what works for you. And inhale, rise. Use both hands to help that leg out ahead of you and shake it out. Okay, are you ready? You may or may not master this currently, depending on where you're at in your yoga practice, but maybe you get really close today. So bring your left foot up. Okay. Shift your weight back to your glutes and guide your right foot closer to you. Now from here you can take both hands and very thoughtfully and slowly. Don't force it. Just very thoughtfully do your best to guide it on top of the other thigh. And now you're in lotus. Yay, lotus. Option to shift your weight from side to side just to get a good feel for it. Also option to circle your torso if that feels good from one side to the other. And to get out of this, take both hands to the right foot. Do your best to lean forward and allow gravity to kind of let you unravel your legs. And then same thing with the left, unravel that after you extend your right, shake it out, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Are you ready? Okay, so right leg, or right foot over the left leg. And then shift your weight back, guide your left foot towards you, sit back, down, and then use both hands to do your best to kindly move that foot on top. Now you're in lotus on the other side. So once again, feel free to rock back and forth just to kind of get a feeling for what this feels like. If this feels too aggressive for you, you can get right out of it ASAP. Over time, it won't feel as aggressive and you'll be able to sit in it for longer periods of time. Maybe even eventually do like a forward fold or other little postures along with it. All right, take both hands and mindfully guide that leg away from you and let the other leg come down. Take both knees together, extend your legs out ahead of you and shake them out. So that is a very it's short / long way of getting into lotus. You just want to make sure that your muscles are warmed up and stretched appropriately before you get into the posture. Maybe one day when you've practiced for a while, lotus would be a lot easier to get into, just like that. But until then, always be kind and mindful to your body and ease it into the process. So go ahead and meet me in your easy seat. Shoulders down and back, palms up to receive. Get nice and grounded through your spine. Inhale through the base of your spine to the crown of your head. And exhale through the crown of your head to the base of your spine. Scan your body. Maybe feel the openness of your hips. Maybe even feel a little more openness in your heart. Inhale both arms out and up to press palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale to lengthen here. Exhale, hinge at your hips and bow to yourself. Thanking yourself for this time to reconnect with your mind, body, and spirit. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed that and that you were able to get at least close to the posture, if not all the way. And even if you hadn't, maybe previous postures, you were able to actually get maybe a little deeper because we held them a little bit longer. If you enjoyed that, go ahead and like and subscribe for future videos. And if you feel like anybody else would appreciate that, then go ahead and share it as it helps me help more people. Until next time, have a beautiful rest of your day and shine your sparkle everywhere you go. Namaste.